Good day, everyone. I'm Genevieve Canaro reporting of Book 1.
Peace Crusade or Campaign for Reforms. Propaganda Movement ay isang organisasyon na nabuo noong 1872 na tinatawag na Ilustrados at pagkilala sa Pilipinas ng Espanya. This movement is aggressive but peaceful by means of writing and speeches. They crusade for reforms to rectify the evils of the Spanish colonial system. The proponent leader of the movement were namely Dr. Jose Rizal and Marcelo Delver and Graciano Lopez. Next, propagandist. First, Jose Alejandrino Anastasio. Siya yung tumulong kay Jose Rizal na nag-correct ng mga error. El Filibusterismo. Si Graciano Lopez Haina ay isang journalist, author, at reformalist. And si Marcelo H. Del Pilar o mas kilalang Plaridel, isa siyang abogado, journalist at Freemason. At lastly, siya ang ating pambansang bayani na si Jose Rizal, author ng No Limitangere at El Filibusterismo. Isa rin sa sumulat sa La Solidaridad na nakapangalang Laon Laan.
Good day everyone, my name is Kirby Josh A.D. Chavez from Group 1 and today I will discuss the Philippine Revolutionary 1896. The first is Overview of the Katipunan and its role mobilizing Filipino. The Katipunan was a secret revolutionary society founded by Andres Bonifacio in 1892. Was a secret revolutionary group aiming for Philippine independence through armed resistance against Spanish rule. It united Filipinos under a national vision of freedom using symbols like the triangle and recruitment and spreading revolutionary ideas. And what is a major and turning points in the revolutionary? The first is Cry of Pugad Lawing, August 1896. The symbolic opening salvo of revolution in which revolutionaries ripped their cédulas as a form of defiance. And the second is the Battle of San Juan del Monte in August 30, 1896, marked as the first major encounter between Filipino revolutionary and Spanish force through a defeat. For Filipinos, it inspired whispered demonstration sa isayin natin. The first is Andres Bonifacio, known as the father of the Philippine Revolutionary. He found the Katipunan and led the early stage of the revolution. He was executive after conflicts with Emilio Aguinaldo. The second is Emilio Aguinaldo, leaders of the Magdalong Faction in the first president of the Philippines. He headed the second half of the revolution and declared the country's independence in 1898, but remains very controversial because of his rivalry with the Bonifacio. Third is Melchor Aquino, also known as Tandang Sora, the mother of revolution, who served as reforms and sanctuary to revolutionary. Fourth is Antonio Luna. He was a brilliant general and strategist who disciplined and organized the Filipino army but was killed by his fellow comrades. The last is Gregorio de Jesus, also known as Lakambini of the Katipunan, wife of Bonifacio and custodian of the secret of the Katipunan, contributed much in the promotion of the revolutionary movement. That's all. Thank you, everyone.
The call for independence and the formation of revolutionary governments. Aguinaldo returned to the Philippines on May 19, 1898 and announced renewal of the struggle with Spain. The Filipinos would declare their independence for Spain on June 12, 1898, proclaimed a provisional republic of which Aguinaldo was to become president, and in September a revolutionary assembly met and ratified Filipino independence. Was the Biak na Bato Republic in 1897 led by Emilio Aguinaldo, but it was short-lived as Aguinaldo was exiled after the truce with the Spain. Despite this, it symbolized the Filipino fight for independence. The Malolos Republic, formed in 1898 after the declaration of Philippine independence, was Asia's first republic. Its constitution provided a governance framework but faced internal division and internal threats, especially from the United States. Filipino revolutionaries were inspired by global independence movements such as the French and American revolutions, as well as struggles in Latin America, which influenced leaders like Aguinaldo Bonifacio and Rizal.
Hello guys, this is me reporting about Constitution of Biak na Bato. And this is my introduction of Constitution of Biak na Bato. The Constitution of Biak na Bato was documented in the Philippines history established during the revolution against Spanish colonial rules. Adopted on the November 1, 1897, it marked a significant step in the struggle for the Philippines' independence under the leadership of Emilio Aguinaldo. The Constitution drafted in the mountain stronghold of Yacnabato in Bulacan sought to provide governance for the Sinus Filipino Republic amid a difficult period in the revolution. This is the background of Biaknabato. In 1896, the Katipunan led by Andres Bonifacio began the revolt against Spain. However, after Bonifacio's death and the rise of Aguinaldo leadership, the revolution faced military setback. By 1897, the revolutionaries and the Spanish agreed to ceasefire under the Biaknabato Pact. Aguinaldo and his fellow leaders agreed to excel in Hong Kong in exchange for the monetary indemnity. During this time, the Constitution was created to provide framework for governance during ongoing conflict. This is the Biak na Bato. The Constitution was crafted during the ceasefire and served as a temporary governmental framework while the revolution continued. Is a core principle laid the foundation from a republic based on democratic ideals, emphasize liberty, equal, and fraternity. This is a part of Biak na Bato. Preamble. The preamble of Constitution express the intention to form republican government rooted in democratic principles such as liberty, equal, and fraternity is admired the sovereignty of the people and the desires of national freedom. Declaration of Rights. The Constitution ensured fundamental rights such as freedom of speech, religion, and the press, as well as the right to property, security, and a fair trial. These rights will in line with the democratic values and are meant to counter the injustice of Spanish rule. Structure of government. Example, executive branch. The president initially Emilio Aguinaldo would serve as both head of state and government. Significance executive powers including appointment ministers and leaders the administration. Judicial branch. A judiciary was established but without clear provision on the courts. Structure the judicial was meant to protect the right and freedom of the people. National Assembly. The Constitution proposed the creation of National Assembly, which would present the Filipino people pass law and guide the nation. However, it's not operationally due to the ongoing conflict. Military provision. Given the revolutionary context, the Constitution formalized the Revolutionary Army, ensuring its command structure of organizing independence.
By 1897, the revolution has gained momentum, with the revolutionaries establishing a stronghold in the mountainous region of Biak na Bato, Bulacan Province. The Spanish government, facing mounting pressure, sought a way to the Cute.
Key provision of Biak na Bato. The Pact of Biak na Bato and the Biak na Bato Constitution were pivotal movements in the history of the Philippines Revolution. The Pact temporarily halted the conflict, offering a chance for the revolutionaries to regroup and recognize, while the Constitution provided a glimpse into the aspiration of the Filipino people for self-governance and independence. Though the pact did not bring long-lasting peace or resolve the struggle for independence, it set the stage for the eventual resurgence of the revolutionary movement and the declaration of Philippines independence in 1898.
The unfulfilled promise, the Biak na Bato Pact, and the elusive goal of Filipino independence. The Pact of Biak na Bato, signed in December 1897, illustrates the complexities of achieving lasting peace under colonial rule. Intended as a truce between the Spanish government and Filipino revolutions, it ultimately failed to secure independence due to unfulfilled commitments from Spain. The pact's collapse highlighted the fragility of peace when distrust and conflicting aspirations linger. Key to its failure was the Spanish government's neglect of crucial provisions. Financial endings promised to compensate the revolutionaries were only partially delivered under trust political reforms, including the removal of unpopular friars. Filipino representation in the Spanish Cortes and assurance of freedoms remained largely unaddressed. Additionally, the promised amnesty for revolutionaries.
Significance and legacy of the Biak na Bato Constitution. The Biak na Bato Constitution is an important part of the Philippine history because it was the first attempt to create a constitutional government in the country. It was written in 1897 during the Philippine Revolution against Spanish rule. Leaders like Emilio Aguinaldo and other revolutionaries wanted to set up a new government with a clear system of leadership and law. First attempt at a constitutional government. The Biak na Bato Constitution was the first time the Filipino revolutionaries tried to create a formal government. They wanted to set up the Republic of the Philippines with a president, a cabinet, and a system for making laws. This was a big step because it showed their desire for a government led by Filipinos rather than the Spanish colonial rulers. Inspiration for future revolutionary actions. Even though the Biak na Bato Constitution was fully successful, it gave inspiration for future revolutionary movements. The idea of having a Filipino-led government and fighting for freedom and independence continued in later struggles. The ideals in the constitutional influenced later revolutions, including the Philippine-American War, when the country tried again to assert its independence. Significance as a prosecutor to later efforts for self-governance. The Biak na Bato Constitution is important because it was the first step towards self-governance in the Philippines. Although it didn't lead to full independence, it showed the Filipinos' desire for a democratic government. This idea of having their own government would continue to inspire future efforts for independence, like the Philippine Commonwealth in 1935 and finally, the Philippine independence in 1946.
Good day everyone! Ngayon, itatakil natin kung ano ba ang konstitusyon ng Malolos noong 1899. Ang digmaang Espanyol at ang mga Amerikano sa Pilipinas. Ang digmaang Espanyol at Amerikano noong 1898 ang nagbunsod ng pagbabago sa Pilipinas mula sa pagiging kolonya ng Espanya patungo sa pagkakasangkot nito sa pagitan ng Espanya at Estados Unidos. Dahil sa digmaang iyon, natalo ang Espanya sa digmaan. Kaya't sa Treaty of Paris, ibininta nito ang Pilipinas sa Estados Unidos sa halagang 20 milyon nang hindi kinonsulta ang mga Pilipino. Pagbabalik ni Emilio Aguinaldo mula sa pagkatapon at pagdeklara ng kalayaan. Si Emilio Aguinaldo, ang leader ng Rebolusyong Pilipino, ay ipinatapon sa Hong Kong noong 1897. Bumalik siya sa Pilipinas noong 1898 sa tulong ng Estados Unidos upang labanan ang Espanya. Noong Hunyo 12, 1898, idineklara ni Aguinaldo ang kalayaan ng Pilipinas mula sa Espanya. Ang pagbuo ng Kongreso ng Malolos at pagbalangkas ng konstitusyon. Itinatag ang Kongreso ng Malolos noong Setyembre 15, 1898 sa Barasuin Church sa Malolos, Bulacan. Layunin ng Kongreso na lumikha ng unang konstitusyon ng Pilipinas upang patunayan na ang bansa ay may sariling gobyerno at karapat-dapat maging malaya. Ang konstitusyon ng Malolos ay naaprubahan noong Enero 21, 1899 at nagtatag ng unang republika ng Pilipinas. Ano ang konstitusyon ng Malolos noong 1899? Ang konstitusyon ng Malolos noong 1899 ay ang unang konstitusyon ng Pilipinas na ginawa ng mga Pilipino at para sa Pilipino. Ito ang naging batayan ng pamahalaan ng unang Republika ng Pilipinas sa ilalim ng pamumuno ni Emilio Aguinaldo, na ang nilalaman ay ang kalayaan at karapatang pantao. Itinakda nito ang mga pangunahing karapatan tulad ng kalayaan sa pagsasalita, relihiyon at pagpupulong. Iginiit din ang pantay na karapatan ng lahat ng mamamayan sa harap ng batas at republikano at demokratikong pamahalaan. Itinatag nito ang isang pamahalaang republikano na pinamumunuan ng isang pangulo na inihalal ng mga kinatawan ng bayan. At paghiwalay ng simbahan at estado, tiniyak nito na ang simbahan ay hiwalay sa pamahalaan upang maiwasan ang panghihimasok nito sa mga pampulitikang usapin. Ang kahalagahan nito, simbolo ito ng kakayahan ng mga Pilipino na pamunuan ang kanilang sariling bansa. Ipinapakita rito sa mundo na handa ang Pilipinas na maging isang malayang estado. Saan at kailan ito naganap? Ang konstitusyon ay binalangkas ng Kongreso ng Malolos sa Barasuin Church, Malolos, Bulacan. Naaprubahan ito noong Enero 21, 1899 at ang unang republika ng Pilipinas ay formal na itinatag. Ito ang naging pundasyon ng laban ng Pilipinas para sa kalayaan laban sa kolonyalismo, bagamat hindi kinikilala ng Estados Unidos ang sinabing republika. At paghiwalay ng simbahan at estado, tiniyak nito na ang simbahan ay hiwalay sa pamahalaan upang maiwasan ang panghihimasok nito sa mga pampulitikang usapin.
Good day everyone, and I will discuss the another structure of the Malolos Constitution. The first is establishment of the Republican government. The Malolos Constitution established the first Philippine Republic and marked the Philippines as Asia's first republic. It was based in republic form of government, where sovereignty lay in the people and adhered to the ideals of the liberty, equality, and fraternity. And this is the three branches of the government, which is executive branch, headed by the president who had supreme authority as he has the head of government. The president elected through the National Assembly with a 4-year term and was not eligible for immediate re-election. Second is legislative branch. The National Assembly acted as the sole legislature, and its duties include the enactments of laws, ratification of treaties, and the passage of budgets. It exercised considerable authority due to legislative supremacy since the matches the principle of democracy. The last is judicial branch. A Supreme Court and subordinate courts has been established to yield judicial power to administer justice and enforce the law. The President appoints judges with the concurrence of the National Assembly to ensure judicial independence. The last topic is emphasis on the check balances. The continuous had in the init a system of checks and balances to prevent abuse of power. The National Assembly could, by impeachment, hold the President accountable. Legislative oversight and judicial review could also limit the President's decision. The judiciary ensured the laws passed by the legislature and action taken by executive upheld constitutional principles law. And that's all. Thank you, everyone.
Ultimately, the Biak na Bato Pact failed to address the long-term aspiration. The Biak na Bato failed to address, then paving the way for self-determination. It served as a temporary measure to mitigate revolutionary threats. This failure underscores that lasting peace requires more than a signed agreement. It demands a genuine commitment to address deep-seated grievances and respect the aspiration of all parties involved.
And the Malolos Constitution was a monumental document in Philippine history, marking the formal establishing of the first Philippine Republic and embody the aspiration for a democratic and sovereign nation, while the Republic itself was short-lived due to the challenges of the Philippine-American War. The Constitution laid the foundation for future efforts toward self-governance and independence. Its influence extended well beyond its immediate context, serving as a precursor to the Philippine democratic system and contributing to the broader wave of nationalist movement across Asia.